the whole idea was just to keep it kind of like as a watch and, you know, wear it every so often, right? I had no idea, like, I was in the car scene for a while and going to shows and stuff, and I still have friends that are deep in the car shows. And when they found out I picked this up, they were like, hey, you need to share it. You need to bring it out. I reluctantly did that, and because, you know, I wanted to keep it just for myself, but then I was like, that's not doing justice. And there's not a lot of them out there anymore. So the first show I went was like AutoCon in Orange County, and it got so much love, like coverage and all that stuff. I was like, wow. So, and yeah. And my vision is just to keep it clean, simple. You know, I admire it. I've done little upgrades here and there, subtle ones, but I have ideas. I mean, there's just keep it clean. That's basically what I want to do.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have Robert. Robert, thank you so much for making some time for us, man. So tell us, man, what do you drive?
I have a 1990 Honda Civic.
1990 Honda
1990.
Civic. So you mentioned that when you were in high school, right? These were brand new cars.
Yes.
So tell us about the very first time you saw the Civic.
First time I saw the Civic, I was in high school, and some of the guys had them already, and I saw them starting to mod it, and they put on rims and put sound systems in them, and they look really
Did you like
really
it right
cherry.
off the bat?
Yeah, I did. I think the shape just spoke to me, the hatch especially. I mean, the CRXs and stuff like that were nice, but I kind of liked the hatch more. You know, I liked the hatch, the way it looked, more of a, just the shape of the car was good for me. I fell in love with that. Yeah.
So then, when do you buy your first EF Civic?
My first Civic I got from my brother. So that was back in, I want to say 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough. It was a salvage title, and I started looking for JDM parts. So and I fell in love with the hunt, and it was like a hunt. It was like a scavenger hunt, like the front end, the rear bumper, the thin moldings. I had everything on it. The only thing that I didn't do was a full right-hand conversion. Yeah. So then it went through two times it got stolen.
Oh, that's
Yeah, and then on the third time I was like, I'm gonna go all out. So we did a B18C swap in that one, and got it carb legal. You know, got it all passed through emissions. It was 100% legal, and I enjoyed it. But I was getting pulled over, like just being in the car. And I started disliking that, and so I ended up buying an Evo, and I got into Evos for a while. So the Civic just sat, and you know, I got married, and then wifey was like, okay, you need to choose, we have too many cars. So then I reluctantly gave up the Civic, and some kid from Modesto came down and bought it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a sad day, but it went to a good home, I think.
I went to a good home.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, how did you end up with this? You start getting the bug back. How did you specifically end up with this EF?
Well, so like I said, I had Evos, right? I got into Evos pretty heavily. I had like 3 Evos, and then my 40th birthday was coming up, and I was deciding what to get for my 40th, and I was looking at Rolex, like a Rolex watch, just to show that I made it, you know. So then, but what happened is that I through Facebook, you know, all the forums moved into Facebook groups, right? So then there was an EF group, and this car was up for sale, and it was in Indiana.
What? Okay.
Yeah, so it was cherry. So like I didn't have time to get into it anymore because I work and all that stuff. I couldn't wrench on cars as much as I could back in the day. So I was like, okay, well, it's pretty clean, and it had a K swap already in it. So I was like, yeah. So I had an EF with the GSR, started loving the Ks. It was already done. So met this guy, his name's Joe Gibbons, coolest cat ever. Went in, his place is on a farm. He has a crop runway. His dad used to run crop dusting, and his garage was basically a hangar.
What?
And so this was in there, and I was like, holy crap, I just fell in love with it.
Opened the doors there.
Yeah. So so I went in there, we took a test drive. He knew right away that it was going to the right home. So we had a connection right away.
That's awesome.
And so made the deal, flew out again, did the transaction, hired reliable transport to ship it over here, and it arrived just a little bit after my birthday in Orange County.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Robert, so tell us a little bit about the front end. What do we got going on, man?
So the front end is a full JDM front end, from the filler to the side indicator lights. We have Jay's Racing type carbon fiber lip, and just the pinstriping there to match the car. With the headlights, we got some amber turn signal lights there. The JD, this is the most prized position that I think sets it off, is the Jay's Racing carbon fiber hood. This is no longer in production. It was a pretty premium price when it came out, and that sets it off. I fell in love when I saw it.
Is that your favorite part of the car at the moment?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everything on the car, but I think that's the most. Yeah.
All right, Rob. So tell us a little bit about the suspension pieces that you have going on.
So on the suspension, I got some Coney Yellows ground control sleeves, QA1 springs, some Skunk 2 upper control arms, Function 7 lower control arms, full race traction bar, and Suspension Techniques rear sway bar.
Damn, so a lot of work on the suspension end.
Yeah.
What about the brakes?
The brakes, spoon calipers with, I got the kswaps 36 millimeter hubs, 11-inch Mini Cooper rotors, got some ITR brake pads, and then a DA rear brake conversion there.
Any future plans for the suspension?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of KW suspension, and all my cars had K-dubs. Even my S13 that I have has K-dubs. So I'm looking to pick that up and put those in.
Gotcha. Okay. And then tell us about your wheel and tire setup.
Oh, so the wheels are 15 by 7 TE37s, right? They're 205 50 15s.
Nice meaty tire.
Yeah. And I had to put an 8 mil space in the front to cover the calipers. Yeah. So on the rear, we have the rear JDM bumper with the bottom lip there, trim. We got the filler, JDM filler, that's filled with the to get rid of the keyhole. On top, you have the Jay's Racing extender lip with the JDM tail light. So you got the long LED light there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then we got some nice new EF tail lights there. Just picked those up on the
How long did it take you to find them?
It's a lot of hunting again. It's back to that scavenger hunting.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But they're getting higher and higher in pricing now.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Tell us about your exhaust system.
So the exhaust is custom setup. The exhaust comes out of a DC header in the front, and then it goes into a 3-inch stainless steel all the way back.
It sounds nice. I bet when you open it up, it really sounds nice.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Any future plans for the outside?
So I picked up some JDM side skirts. I need to get those finished and installed, so then it will match the trim on the rear. I want to get it trimmed the same color, and they're not 100%, so I need to get them refinished and give them some love, you know.
Other than that, you're good with it?
Yeah, I might change I have some new wheels that I'm looking at, some black TEs. I'm thinking about throwing those on and just changing up the look a little bit for contrast. And I'm gonna still keep these. Like, people are asking me if I'm selling these. Nah, I'm gonna keep them. So sorry, guys.
What a whore part.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
But tell us about the cockpit, man. What do you got going on?
Okay, so it has a CRX dash, which is pretty unique in the sense that the CRX was turned towards the driver. The hatch center console was flat straight. So that's a difference. It has JDM cluster. We have a push start button. It has a Works hub, tilt hub for the J's Racing steering wheel. We got Shea spec shift knob, hybrid racing shifter, short shifter, and then some Recaro fishnet old school seats. And then the rear has JDM rear seats.
So pristine.
Yeah.
So any future plans for the interior?
So the interior, I'm looking probably getting some gauges and putting some gauges in the middle console. I want to possibly do a power window conversion.
Oh.
So that's on the plan. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
So tell us, Robert, what are we staring at, man?
So we have a K20 A2, which is out of RSX Type S, and then it has a non-LSD 6-speed transmission, and then it has hydro conversion. Got a hybrid racing fuel rail. Got J's Racing, radiator cap and little tidbits here in J's Racing. And so we got a tuck radiator.
Which is like your turbo from...
Everybody thinks it's a turbo, yeah. It's a tuck radiator, so all-in fab tuck radiator. It has a Wireworks engine harness. And a lot of custom pieces by this guy named Shea Black. It goes by Shea Spec. So custom front. Basically the cold air intake he did, the valve cover he did. Then the main piece that I get a lot of questions about is this middle front radiator T-bar replacement piece.
And who did that? Him?
Yeah, Shea.
Love the dimples on them.
Yeah, he's a really good fabricator. He moved to Utah now. He's doing 4x stuff.
So then the internals of the K20 is stock?
Yeah, it's a stock K20.
And the pinstriping,
Pinstriping was done, in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that sets it off because, wire tucking was kind of like a big thing it still is in hot rodding. Mm-hmm. And that kind of love got into the Honda scene, and I thought adding that pinstriping just sealed everything with the wire tuck. So Joe did a real good job in finding someone to do pinstriping.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Is there any future plans?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna drop the motor and clean it up just a little bit more for show,
Mm-hmm.
so make it more showy. So maybe hardware and you know, cleaning up the transfer case and stuff like that.
Man, as is, it's perfect.
It's not as clean as, you know, a show car, but yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
But it's a great start, yeah.
All right, Robert, thank you so much, man, for making the time for us. Amazing, amazing car. Amazing location as well.
Yeah.
Tell us, man, any future plans that you may have forgotten about and any shout outs?
Future plans. So I picked up some wide Osaka fenders that I'm thinking about.
Way.
Yeah. So I picked some Osaka fenders, and like I said, the wheels, possibly swapping them out with another set of TEs that I have. And then some, I want to actually see if I can get the rear seats upholstered similar to the front seats, the Recaros, and possibly do that kind of Recaro stitching, all that done in the rear seats.
Wow.
So looking at that. There is a carbon roof that I'm looking at that's possible, so we'll see.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm still debating on either going folding mirrors, or I got some Osaka mirrors already, so I'm still on the fence on that. So yeah, so that's pretty much like I said, the
Side skirts
are coming. Yeah, that's pretty much.
And any shout outs, man?
I got a lot, so a lot of shout outs too. First off to Joe Gibbons from Indiana. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to buy this car. Shay Speck from, you know, doing all the custom work that he did. I really appreciate and admire it. It's getting a lot of love here in SoCal. My good friend, best friend actually, Ant, he owns Ant Spec on the hat here. So if you have any Subaru or Mitsubishi, go and see him. If GTRs, anything turbo, go see him. And my wonderful wife for letting me play with toys. So, and all the Honda boys out there, everybody out there, keep it real, man. So you guys, I love the whole scene. You know, I really appreciate it. It gets a bad rap sometimes, but you know, there's a lot of passion in it, and that's what I really admire. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate it. I know we've tried to do this, you know, but you know, sometimes scheduling wasn't the best. Every single time I see this car, it just brings so much positive energy. And again, just chatting with you every single time, it's a good time. So thank you so much for just making time for us and sharing your story with us. And please keep on building this car, but not so much where you can't drive it anymore, because it's already pretty and we want you to drive it. We love seeing you at meets and car shows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that everybody loves it. It's kind of cool that when I do bring it out, I get the new cats that are not aware of the EF chassis, and they're like, wow, this is really clean. And then we get old cats that, just like that one guy that just passed by, oh, I remember how I had one back in the day and I loved it. So I think that Honda Power of Dreams is really a good vibe, and that's why I haven't let it go. So
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Keep on the road. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Robert, no warming up or something.
It's gonna break, it's gonna break.
Damn.
Yeah, she just gives me grins ear to ear, so. But it's kind of cool because like I can go into 6th gear and it's quiet.
And it's just like 1K.
Yeah, and then I can go back.
This man's wild. Oh shit. Oh man, I imagine it to be fun, but definitely not this one, to be honest with you. Shit.
So
now, for some reference for some people, you also own a Porsche, and what else?
I got a Porsche, an S13 with a K20. I'm sorry, SR20. I have a Tundra 4x4. I have a BMW 335.
Oh.
And then this car. And I just picked up a CRX EF8, right-hand drive.
Pristine.
Yeah.
Out of all those cars, honestly, is this your favorite to drive?
Favorite to drive, yes.
Why?
Because, so my brother has a Tesla.
Oh.
My best friend has a Tesla, and you know I was on the edge of like getting a Tesla, but what I can't get over is that it doesn't have the noise, and I'm very tactile. Like I want to hear noise coming out of the motor. I want to
feel the shifter shaking, everything.
I want the sound. I want the smells. I want all that, right? And this is the car that gives me that feeling the most.